Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of our very own podcast. Hey, Ollie.
Hello, how are you, Benji?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Good, good. We did it. We finally did it after test 89, whatever number this is. This is the one that is going to go
Tests
live.
galore. Yeah, we this has been a bit of a labour of love, shall we say? Maybe.
Yeah.
We've taken our time. We've made sure that we're getting it right, but now we are here. We're in front of you. We're recording this properly, and as I said, this is our first episode of our very own podcast, and it's called Side Quests. And we'll talk a bit about why it's called Side Quests a little bit later on. But yeah, it's very exciting to be here. We're going to be talking. What's this podcast going to be about, Ollie?
Like the main story, right, or main quest. This is like the side quest. So that's what it's about.
We're going to go on little tangents. So we both have kind of YouTube channels, and we have our own kind of content. Well, we're both content creators in our own right. But yeah, we kind of, there's lots of stuff that we want to do on our channels, but it kind of doesn't fit our demographic, and YouTube doesn't like it. So this kind of gives us that outlet to be able to talk about stuff that might not kind of otherwise fit on our channels, and things that kind of interest us that we would like to talk about anyway.
Yeah, it's a good excuse as well for you and I to chat even more often than we already do, right? You're kind of like my partner from abroad. Do you know what I mean? You're like my piece on the side. So that kind of makes sense. So this is a good chance for us to talk all the crap we've always wanted to talk about, that we do talk, but like other people can hear it.
Exactly. So we both kind of talk. Most days, I would say, we kind of.
I would say nearly every day.
Pretty much every day, we kind of talk to some extent. So and some of it is so profound and so interesting that we feel like we kind of need to share that with you, with you people at home. And our wits and intellect and wisdom will hopefully come across in this podcast.
Jesus, you're building this up, man, far more than I can. I can't do wit, wisdom, intellect. I'm just the looks, and this is the podcast, so it's a waste of time. Do you know what I mean? Where does that get me?
So, if you want to watch this will be on YouTube as well, but hopefully this will be in all the places that you also get your podcast as well. So you should be able to get it. You can see us in full HD, or you can just listen to us in your ear holes.
Nice.
So,
how about we introduce ourselves or each other? I'm going to go.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Ollie, and you're Benji. Benji, tell me a little bit about yourself.
We put off now.
Take 4, guys. Yeah. Wait, what just happened was we had a technical issue 3.5 minutes into our very first episode after 89 tests. So I'm going to go back in where we were. I think you guys probably heard some gibberish, and then I went, "Why don't we introduce ourselves? My name's Ollie. You're Benji. Hey Ben, tell us a bit about yourself."
Hey guys, so I am Ben, and you guys might know me from my YouTube channel Benji's Hobbies, where I make videos about things that interest me, mostly Middle-earth stuff. And I've been going for about 4 years now, a bit on and off. There's been kind of a lot of stuff going on in life, like you're having a child, which kind of really does put a bit of a dampener on your kind of YouTube content creation. I think that might be a topic for a future video.
Yeah, I can now give you that one. I understand that now, having just had one myself, how much it destroys any YouTube channel-ness. So I understand now.
It really kind of takes a bit of your oomph away from you, shall we say? Kind of maybe a little bit of a lapsed YouTuber, but now, this is a great way of kind of being able to reconnect with people. And, quite often people have asked me, would you make longer form content? But it takes so long, Ollie, you'll know this. It takes so long to make even a 10-minute video for us, the way we make videos, that it is just kind of not possible to make longer form content. So this is kind of essentially how I'm going to make longer form content. So, yeah, Ollie, tell me a little bit about yourself.
All right, my name's Ollie. I run the channel Broadsword Wargaming. I suppose now myself, my partner also, Kira Elvenblood on Instagram. She's on the channel as well. I run a shop over here in the Republic of Ireland, down in the west, on the west coast, as they'd say here. I have a hobby shop here where we stock all of your hobby goods and needs as well. That's kind of developed over the last couple of years. I've had the YouTube channel now for 5 years. Still pushing on for the 100,000, the big one. I want my platinum plate on the wall now. Was it silver? I don't know. When do you get that? Do you even
Silver,
get one for 100,000 anymore?
Silver's 100,000. Is it gold for 1,000,000?
I don't know. That's never going to happen. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
that's a bit way off that. It'd be like 70
Yeah.
and like.
Yeah, I just want a plaque, so I've got that. And yeah, I've recently had a newborn myself, so that's been exciting. And much like yourself, Benji, this is a good way for me to sort of reconnect back with people a little bit and show a bit of myself. I feel like probably both our channels are in the same situation where it's all quite kind of technical, and it's doesn't necessarily give me the opportunity to blossom. It's the personality.
It's quite sort of clinical, I guess, what we do, isn't it? Like, it's sort of quite scripted, and we don't kind of tend to go off script a huge amount. So it's kind of difficult. And like for me, one of the favorite videos I've ever made is when I came over to see you, and I made the Space Marine centipede. But there was quite a lot of that was just quite organic, and that was like a lot of fun to make, and I'm hoping that we'll maybe have that sort of interaction on this a little bit as well, a little bit of banter and a bit of fun. So yeah, I think that's kind of why I really wanted to sort of push for this, so that we had sort of some, we were able to kind of have that sort of interaction again.
Yeah, I mean, for me, yeah, that was like probably one of my favorite edits, right? There's just a bit where we're laughing. I forget, I don't know, but I love to listen to it, right? If I want to feel good about life, I like to listen to your lovely laugh, right?
There's just like that kind of bit halfway through, and we like look at what each other has made, and we just like burst out laughing at what we both made, because it just looks so.
But that's the problem, right?
Awful.
YouTube didn't even like that video, so like,
no,
that's why I can't do that stuff, so now I have to do it here, because this is the only place I can.
Yeah, that's one of my worst performing videos on YouTube ever.
Me too.
It's like, I think you even removed yours from your channel. It was so bad.
Yes. Oh yeah, I couldn't have the sponsors see it, because I go, what the hell is this shit? Why have you glued a load of Sigmarines up the arse of another Sigmarine to make Sigmarine centipedes? It felt like a great idea at the time. We actually started off right with the idea of doing this collab, like doing these serious conversions, and then I don't know, we went to the pub, I think, and came back and decided that would be a good idea.
Yeah, I felt like in my head it sounded like a really cool idea, and then I don't think we really.
I thought we could get the meme, man. I thought we could meme people.
Yeah,
but it's not it's not the channel. It doesn't like that. YouTube doesn't like that.
People got angry at mine. Like, it got really highly disliked.
Why? I've only had two videos do that badly. Both have been removed. I unlisted that one, so I do still have it. So maybe I should upload that as like an extra if we ever get like Patreon.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah,
hey,
we could both.
Here's the video we did together. But the other video I had that did the same was I did Kira, my partner. She did a react to Astartes.
I remember that.
I just outright deleted that. Like, I've never done it before, but I was just like, I don't want to make any videos ever again. I just deleted it because there was just people just calling and like all sorts. So
people were so horrible on that, weren't they?
It was so horrible. I never wanted to make videos again, so I just got rid of it. So that was.
I think that
that's why it exists.
There's loads of like I think that's definitely a topic for another video as well, kind of dealing with like online abuse. Maybe
I get abused every day.
yeah. Like there's one of my videos that I'm getting loads of abuse for at the moment. Like it's an old one that just seems to have resurfaced, and it's like, oh my god, I just want to delete this video, but it's getting views, so I'll just leave it there.
I should stop abusing all your old videos, I suppose, shouldn't I?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll stop typing that in.
Yeah, is it you just setting up new accounts?
It's me doing it. Yeah, it's all my different accounts. It's like Benji's a dick account, that's one. Benji's a knob account, that's another. Benji's an arsehole. They all start like that. So yeah, you notice it.
Benji's a knob, one. Benji's a knob, two.
I'm not very creative. What can I say?
No, exactly.
Actually, I do want to make an account called the Seasoner, right? Like for salt, the Seasoner. Like I'm a salt master.
Wow.
Yeah. I can't do it. I get too annoyed. Like I can't do trolls or trolling. So like I think I get trolled and then I'm like, bastard. And then I realize that they're trolling me. I can't deal with that very well. So I don't think I could be the season. I get annoyed at myself.
Maybe not. No. It's a nice idea. Somebody else can take that mantle and run with it.
Yeah. If you're out there,
become
you want to
the
call yourself
Seasoner.
Yeah.
Like the worst superhero ever, the Seasoner.
Yeah. Salt Bay.
Yeah, Salt Bay. So we thought, as this is our first episode, we've already given a bit of an insight into us, but we thought we'd do like a little bit of wargaming speed dating almost. We're going to ask each other questions, and we're going to answer them as well. But it kind of gives you a bit of a flavour for the things that we like, the things that we kind of enjoy talking about, and kind of what has shaped our wargaming, who we are as wargamers these days. So, Ollie, shall I go first?
I'm about to get aroused by questions about wargaming. Is that the idea?
Maybe, yeah.
Are you on the poll?
We can see if we're compatible, and maybe we could hook up.
We're not going to be compatible, obviously.
We're not going to be compatible. Definitely not. Definitely, no. You're far too competitive and gamey for my liking.
Gamey,
yeah. Taking disgusting armies.
You go first. Hit me with the question.
Yeah. So, Ollie, what was your dream army growing up?
Ooh, my dream army. Okay, 2 armies spring to mind. Can I have 2 dream armies? How many dreams am I allowed to have?
I've got 2 dream armies as well. So yeah, you can have 2 as well. I'll let you.
Okay, I started the hobby. Here's some background. In 1992, as a young man, my first steps, I wandered into a Games Workshop store, and there I saw the awesome figures that were 2nd edition 40k. My first models I ever bought, Eldar Guardians, and from then on, I wanted an army of the yellow with the red heads, blue heads even, Iandan, I think, Guardians, and then I saw Space Wolves, and I wanted those as well. So 2nd edition Eldar and 2nd edition Space Wolves, they were like always my dream army, and even now, as an older man approaching another age, they're the armies I still want now. They were my dream armies.
Have you not got those now?
I do have them, actually. I did rebuy them all. I went a bit mental last year. I've got my own shop, obviously, so I can pretty much grab anything I want other than stuff that I can't get as a shop. So the only things I like now are things I can't actually get or afford. They're the things I like. So old models.
All old models, and all still in box as well. Like you've got like a massive collection of it all now, haven't you?
Box. Yeah, which means I can't actually open them or paint them, really. So I still don't really have them. I just have them to look at occasionally.
Yeah, and like look at the boxes and go, oh, maybe one day, and then put them back away again.
Yeah, then I have to do some shit video about Space Marines. What about you? Exactly. What is your dream army or armies growing up? Or even now?
There's 2 that spring to mind for me. So the first one is an all-metal Galadrim army from the 2 Towers. So when they first came out, I would have been about 13, 14, and needing sort of, if you wanted enough to make a full army, it was going to be far too expensive for me. And they're just such amazing, lovely models that I just always thought that that's going to be kind of beyond my reach, really, in terms of, well, financially in particularly. So it was kind of, that was always my kind of dream army when I was a youngster. And fortunately, I've actually got, much like you, I've got all the models here, and I've got about 700 points worth of kind of all metal Galadrim, which I will get to one day. And yeah, it's kind of, it's definitely going to be a passion project, that one, because I want it to be, I don't want it to be like a rush job. I want that one to be one that I feel like I can spend a bit of time on. And time is a luxury that I just don't seem to have at the moment. So that's probably going to be on the back burner for a few years. And then my other dream army, and it's not a game that I've ever played, but I have really vivid memories of a Warhammer Fantasy army from the back of a White Dwarf, and I think it was like spread over sort of 2 pages, and it was Archeon and a load of Warriors of Chaos against Voltan of Sigmar. And I can't remember. So that would have been like when I was maybe 15, 16. And yeah, I just remember seeing that kind of double page spread of obviously like, 2 fantasy armies facing off against each other. And the Chaos army in particular, like really, really grabbed me. And now obviously Games Workshop have just come back out with the new box for it. And
that's right.
It's taken a little bit of self-discipline for me not to buy that box. I have got Archeon because he came up as a made to order a couple of years ago. But again, want to do him justice, and I want to spend a bit of time on him, which I don't feel like I have at the moment. So again, that's probably one for the future, which I will definitely get round to. But yeah, he's a cool model, and he's just it's all metal, all massive and chunky, and yeah, it just looked like a really cool army. And I keep meaning to try and dig out that issue of White Dwarf as well, because it's one that I kind of remember so vividly. So yeah, that's kind of one of my other dream armies.
Oh, no way. I didn't know that. I guess Lord of the Rings, but I didn't know Chaos. I mean, the fact they've just brought them all out again, like even I've been tempted, right? Like with the shop, I see them there every day, and I'm like, oh, I was never a fan. Warhammer Fantasy was my game, but Chaos were never my army. It's always my brother's army. But I like using the old world army builder. It's like, I don't know, an app or whatever, or I think it's an app now, but it was like a site. And I built a 2,000 point Chaos army using that new Chaos Battalion box. Jam Archeon in there, and you're away, man. It's not that many models.
No, it's not. And
you should probably just buy it.
I probably should. They have got it in my local gaming store, so I might pop down and get
maybe
it.
I'll send you one.
I think what I love about them is, like, you know, the Chaos dudes. They're all like big and chunky. And they're all like stood there with like the shields in front of them. They're almost like shoulder to shoulder, and it just looked like, I know it's like it is a rank and flank sort of game, but they just looked like they should be there. Do you know what I mean? It was just a really cool looking army. Really cool.
Did you ever play Fantasy back in the day?
Never played a game of it. Never played Old World. So yeah, that's kind of why I've not really invested in it. Not bought that box, because I just think I will probably never paint it. I'll never use it. So
I can't even play. That's like Old World. I think the newest rule set might be, in most ways, not always. I don't think Magic's the best, but I think the new Old World rule set is probably the best edition of Fantasy we've ever had.
Oh wow, that's going big. A lot of people won't agree with you on that, I'm sure, but
I'm sure I won't do. But like, I think Magic could do with a bit of a rejig. Basically now you can cast like every spell you have, where before you had like a resource pool of like what so you have to decide how many dice and stuff you're putting into what you wanted to do. But right now you can just have loads of wizards and cast like 50 spells. Kind of sucks, and you can just dispel endlessly with your level 4 wizards and stuff. I don't think that's great, but the rest of it's really good. Like, normal soldiers last a bit longer. There's more saves now. I don't know, something about it. I've got Empire and Undead were my very first army for Fantasy back in the day as well.
So maybe I should buy the Chaos box and get that painted and then come over and see you.
Oh man, yes, I've got lizard men over here. I've got goblins over here, all painted up, and then I've got
you have, haven't you?
I've got Tomb Kings knocking about. I'd like some Bretonians. I've got all of them, basically. Every army.
Loads of stuff. Yeah. Right, should we move on to the next question?
Oh, okay, yes. All right, okay, I've got one for you then. All right. If you could paint and play one game forever, what would it be? I can guess.
Oh, this is an easy one for me. It would have to be Middle-earth strategy battle game. The Lord of the Rings. It's the game that I started playing. It's what brought me into wargaming. It's what brought me back into wargaming. I think, as we all do, had a bit of a hiatus, and then it was when I kind of had a bit of spare money and a bit of spare time, and I thought, I could do something really cool, like paint toy soldiers again. I kind of got them all out of the attic and started painting, and I've never looked back and never been poorer, really.
And there you are. You got like a Rohan shield, whoever in the background. Is that what?
That's
people can't see
Rohan shield. I've got a Gondor shield. I've got a Numenorian helmet. There's a Rohan helmet up there. I'm a bit of a Lord of the Rings geek. I do like me some Lord of the Rings, and I could just watch the films on repeat. Like during lockdown, I just had like the extended editions going round in circles. Like, I'd finish all the extended editions and then just start them again, and then I'd watch the appendices as well, just because I'm a complete and utter nerd, really.
Because you can.
Just because I can. We all had the time back then as well. How about you? What would be your game?
Ooh, that actually is a tough question, because although I own, a shop and do all that kind of stuff, just in case you didn't know, for the ninth time I own a shop.
Go and buy stuff.
Go buy stuff. No, there is. I don't get to play anything anymore, right? I can't remember the last time I played anything. Probably the last time I actually played anything was when you and I went and played Lord of the Rings doubles last year.
My God, that's over like a year ago. Yeah.
Also, lockdown, you realise, was 5 years ago.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy. That's
Jeez.
ridiculous.
So, one game forever.
Yeah. Paint and play. So think about the models as well.
I do think Age of Sigmar has some awesome models, right?
It does.
But I have been playing things like odd games lately. Skyrim from Modiphius. I've been playing Star Wars Shatterpoint from Atomic Mass. I've been playing Marvel Protocol. It's really tough. I want to be cool and trendy, and obviously say
and edgy and go for something that's non-Games Workshop.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. Oh, I just want to play Star Wars Shatterpoint forever, but that's not true.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can I pick one?
Not Horus Heresy.
Oh, I do love Horus Heresy.
You do love
that. That would be endlessly painting Space Marines, though, wouldn't it?
It would, yeah.
Or Mechanicum, or Solar Auxilia, or Custodes, all of which I wouldn't want to paint forever. I guess something with variety. I'm gonna say Warhammer: The Old World.
Well, yeah, there's good variety. Sounds like a great game and some cool models. So yeah, I can get down with that. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. Should we move on to the next
question?
question?
Say Lord of the Rings, so I can be like you.
Yeah, well, yeah. Should we go to the next question?
Yes.
Let's do it. So, what's your most memorable wargaming game or moment?
Ooh. Do you know, in fact, there's one obvious one that sticks to mind. I grew up in Peterborough in the UK. I live in Ireland now, but grew up in Peterborough in the UK. And this was back in the day when you could, I don't think you can even play in shops anymore. Can you even play in Games Workshop stores anymore? I think they got rid of that.
You can go for demo games and things, but yeah, you can't really play.
They used to put like 3 big 6x4s or 4x4s together, and you all bring like one model. So I had a Space Wolf Razorback. My brother played a Tactical Squad, and my other brother played a Devastator Squad, and it was like, I don't know, like 50 people in the store or whatever, or 40 kids and stuff. So I'd have been a teenager, I don't know, maybe a teenager. And I had a Razorback, and this was in like the edition where you would blow turrets and sides off and guns and immobilize your stuff. And I remember having my like Space Wolf Razorback with the las cannon and the double plasma guns on the top, and it got like immobilized, like couldn't turn anymore. Like, do you know what I mean? It was totally wrecked, but it's just a turret in the middle of the board, just like gunning stuff down. And I was just like, as a kid, that was like the experience I want, other people to have. And that's why I like started the channel and stuff, was so other people could have nice experiences and get into the game and get into the hobby anyway. So that's like my memorable game, is being with my 2 older brothers, gunning down Tyranids in the middle of a board in Games Workshop in like the mid 90s or late 90s. It was just quality Games Workshopping, that was back in the good times.
Good. Sounds great. Yeah. Sounds really
What about
good.
yours? What's your most memorable?
So mine, do you know what? There's one game that always springs to mind, and it's kind of one game that I always kind of think back to, and it's when we first, very kind of early on in my sort of gaming, I call it a gaming group. It's me and a couple of friends that when we started playing, and my mate had like an old barn out the back of his house, and he'd set up this massive board there, and it was like a big green board, and it was like the biggest, like it was bigger than, like, I think it was probably only an 8x4 or something like that, but in my mind it's like so much bigger. But yeah, this 8x4 kind of table, and back then we didn't necessarily have like armies, because we each had like maybe 3 Warriors of Numenor, and like we had all the heroes and things. But basically what we did is, like, me and 2 of my mates, we got all the models that we all had, and we just had this massive almighty battle with, like, I probably even wasn't even that many models, but thinking back, it felt like a lot of models, because it was everything that we had all together. And like that, we didn't really have terrain. It was before like we understood like the concept of making terrain, or the ability to make terrain and things. So we were just using used like bricks as like the doors of Moria, and like we just used stones from the garden as like boulders and mountains and things. But
classic Warhammer, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it just felt like such an amazing game, because we just had, and back then there wasn't like army building rules or anything like that, because it was, the game was very much in its infancy. It was only in its, I guess, 2nd edition, you'd probably call it then. and it wasn't particularly well fleshed out because obviously we were only 2 films deep. We didn't have like all the characters and stuff in it, so it just felt like really cool to just have everything, like 40, 50 odd like high elves, and then like a couple of this, couple of that, a few, and then it was like literally all good versus all evil. But that game has just been like really memorable to me. And whenever I sort of think about playing Lord of the Rings, that's the game that I always think about, regardless of how many games or how many tournaments and things I've been to since. That's the one game that always sticks in my memory.
That's like core memory, right? Core memory
it
unlocked.
It is definitely, yeah. That's one of my core wargaming memories.
Funny, isn't it, how these things stick with you? Like, like we're older now and we do other stuff, but you still remember stuff back then from the good old days, right?
Yeah, and do you know what? Since then, I've played on like tables that are so much nicer, so much better, and with loads of scenery and terrain that's just like really nicely put together and stuff like that. But that game, just that one that really does stick in my mind.
I mean, it's mad. I still remember things that I really enjoyed. That when Fantasy or 40K had the cardboard cutouts, like everyone sort of memed the cardboard Orc Dreadnought, right? And all those things. I used to remember playing games like that and really enjoying them. And now the idea of playing with a cardboard cutout kind of horrifies me.
Yeah,
but it was so perfect back then.
But we just become like wargaming snobs.
Maybe, yeah. We're like grognards now, right? And that's it.
Like playing with. Back in my day, I used to play with.
I used to walk 10 miles in the snow to Games Workshop to play with my cardboard cutout orc. I got my first Orc Dreadnought. I had some of my first coolest models back then.
I think, like, the internet has obviously had like a big part to play in that. People's expectations of what you can achieve and what you can play with and things has changed. And I think, there's so many people making amazing battle reports with amazing terrain and scenery that people, even if they're only 10% of the way there, they want to. That's what they want. Do you know what I mean? They want a cool looking, and I think some of that kind of imagination, I think maybe has gone out of it a little bit. Kind of, that this big boulder is that's a mountain, and these bricks. That's the gates of Moria. It's you kind of
definitely.
I think
we've been spoiled, right? Basically, we've been totally spoiled by content now and how accessible everything is, and list building and sort of metas and whatever, and all that kind of stuff. Like, maybe that, or maybe we're just older. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe.
But I think
people feel that way.
Definitely like a golden age of wargaming. Like that, it's. This might be controversial to some people, but I think wargaming is very accessible now, and I think that's a topic that I want to discuss in another video in a lot more detail. But I think wargaming is almost cool now. So I think that's definitely something to delve into in another episode. But it's almost it's far more accessible now. Whereas I think back in the day, I was almost a bit embarrassed to be playing a war game.
Shame, man. You do.
Yeah.
I used to hide I used to go to games night on a Thursday, so I used to take my box on the bus or whatever to the Games Workshop. I used to use my coat, freeze to death in the winter, but use it to hide my Warhammer box, right, of miniatures.
Yeah, you didn't want the bullies to see your Warhammer box, did you?
You get remorselessly, relentlessly bullied by people.
Yeah,
being a big nerd. Nerding is kind of cool.
Yeah, I'd go and buy a copy of White Dwarf and at lunchtime and stick it in my bag before anybody could go and see what I'd bought and things, like a dirty magazine or something. But yeah, so should we move on to the next question?
All right, yeah, go on then. Favorite piece of wargaming trivia?
Ooh, that's a good one. So my
let me guess, it's going to be Lord of the Rings based.
It is going to be Lord of the Rings based, yeah.
Yes.
So this was in a White Dwarf recently, but I remember this fact kind of bandied around for quite a long time. When the Two Towers film came out and the Fighting Uruk-hai box was released, it was at the time Games Workshop's best-selling product, and and Uruk-hai actually outsold Space Marines, which is crazy to think about these days because Middle Earth is quite a niche game compared to 40K and everything, and and it feels like every other week there is some sort of Space Marine release. I know that's I'm being a bit kind of exaggerating a little bit there, but but there are a lot of Space Marine releases. But it's just crazy to think that Middle Earth was so popular back then that
Yeah,
it outsold.
that is crazy.
Yeah, so it's so that's my wargaming fact.
I like that. Or, Lord of the Rings is better than Warhammer, is what you're saying, and no one likes Space Marines.
That is exactly what I'm saying. And it just feels like people have lost touch and they don't know what's good for them anymore, and they just keep buying Space Marines.
You tell them. That's what we're here to tell them.
Yeah.
Buy or a kind.
And so yeah, what's your piece of wargaming trivia?
I don't know if this is like something everybody would know, or if it's just, maybe everyone does know, and I'm just a fool. But here you go, random spot trivia. We all talk, the Primarchs are coming back, right? In Warhammer 40,000. So
Yeah.
we've got like Gilliman, and we've got
The Lion,
and we've got Angron and all those ones, right?
Mhm.
But the Primarchs were actually back in 40k many years ago. I think the late 80s. I think like 88, 89. Leman Russ was actually released as a model with his 2 wolves back then. So he was a playable
really?
Space Wolf commander. You could play Leman Russ, the Primarch. He's not around yet in 40k in the new edition, but he was then. So bring that along, and there you go.
Oh, wow.
Space Wolf Primarch. Just go find him. It looks it's a little old metal model, I think, like Road Trader era.
Yeah. So it probably doesn't look.
It's already there.
It
looks shit.
That's crazy. Does it actually look that bad?
It's pretty bad. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if you like. I'm going to find a photo. If you like old models, I mean, it's still worse than old models of his time. He has nice hair.
I'll have a look for him later. It probably doesn't stand up to sort of Gulliman and Angron and things now, because they're pretty nice looking models, aren't they?
Pretty massive, yeah.
So who do you think's the next Primarch that's going to come out?
We've got to have Fulgrim.
Mhm.
For the bad guys. It'll make sense, right? Because we have all the other, we have the Death Guard, Thousand Sons, Khorne. So it makes sense to have Fulgrim. Bit like Marathi, big snake person. They did the Horus Heresy one, didn't they? Where he's like a snake.
It's a ridiculous price, though, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So we'll have that.
I saw that. I was like, because do you know what? I quite like Fulgrim. I say recently, it's got to be what, a year or so, maybe a couple of years ago. I read the started reading Horus Heresy, and Fulgrim was genuinely one of my favorite books out of the ones that I got to.
It's a great book.
Great. Yeah, and like it kind of made me have a lot more, a lot more respect. Like before you read it, you just think, good guys, bad guys. I know there's no good guys in Warhammer, but you kind of do have some,
you do have good guys and bad guys in there. Fulgrim for me is a book I really enjoyed. I like all the Horus Heresy books. I've read the majority of them now, but it is the sad downfall of the Shattered Legions, the good guys at Isfan 5, who are my favorite legions. So I can't say I feel that sorry for Fulgrim, but other characters, it does make you feel bad. Like I guess we will get a Perturabo maybe at some point in 40k. Sort of an unaligned, not a Chaos God type. Maybe he'll come back. I suppose we must get like Leman Russ or Dawn could come back for the good guys. We're going to need more goodie Primarchs, right? I'm assuming 40k is going to fill it with goodies. Most of them are still about, bar the couple who are dead. But
who's dead?
Sanguinius, Ferrus Manus, he's dead.
Yes, Ferrus Manus is the one I was thinking of. Yeah, he's probably gone.
Yeah,
he's not coming
unless
back.
It grows a head. A metal head. It's a bit bad. Horus is gone.
Yeah.
And who's Conrad Kurz? He's gone. This is such spoilers, by the way. Go back in time. Don't listen to that. I mean, to be fair, if you don't know that at this point.
I mean, the books have been. The series is done now, isn't it? So it's on you if you've not got to this point. So
I think that's been law since about 3rd edition as well. So get over it.
Yeah, get over it. Just get over it.
Right. Have we got any more questions? One more.
One more.
All right. Outside of wargaming, because this is a kind of get to know us. What other things interest you? What other things do you like doing in your time? Tell us about Benji.
I like listening to music. Music is like, I think everybody kind of listens to music and things, but yeah, in particular kind of rock and old school emo. I think we both you and I have got quite a similar sort of taste in music.
I think
that's fair to say. I think it's fair to say. Jimmy Eat World is definitely up there as one of the favourites. And what else? What else am I into? So, I've just started a new job, which involves working with not necessarily directly with, but kind of adjacent to reptile keeping, which is something I'm very interested in. I used to keep reptiles and breed day geckos and dart frogs in the past. I don't do it anymore, but it's definitely something that massively interests me. I still do a lot of reading about it, and love visiting zoos and looking at reptiles and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of something that I'm into outside of the wargaming sphere.
And just a random question: have you ever started a new job, got a work car, and then like crashed it on the first day or anything?
Not on the first day, no, but the third day I have. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I didn't crash it. Somebody crashed into me, just to make it clear. So yeah, I picked up a new car on the Wednesday, drove it to a hotel, which is 2 miles down the road, drove it back from the hotel to work the next morning. And as I'm pulling into the office, a highway maintenance lorry just like plows into the back of me, which is just what I needed in my first week of a new job.
Have they fired you yet? Can they get rid of you for that? I don't know. I'd fire you.
Do you know what? Like literally, the first thing I wasn't even worried about like, am I injured or anything? The first thing that went through my head was, oh my god, they are either going to fire me or I'm never ever going to hear the end of this. Like those are the two things that kind of went through my head to begin with. And no,
just to clarify, everybody was fine, right?
Everybody was fine.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Except your car.
Like, yeah, the car was. I think it's a write-off. I haven't heard anything otherwise, but yeah, the highway maintenance van that hit me was fine. There was just no damage on it whatsoever. But
there you go.
But yeah, but that's an interesting piece of trivia about me as well. So yeah, what are you into outside of wargaming?
So before I had the channel, I will be again an actor, singer, musician. I would say dancer, but that's not true. It's probably actor, musician, singer, and then dancer in that order. I did once get employed as a dancer in a job. And the coordinator, she ended up just sort of putting me on the side, making me step, click, like just doing that in the corner. Whilst the actual dancer, I did the real job. So that was a little embarrassing, but I sing, I play a lot of music, I listen to a lot of music. I used to watch movies and stuff, but since we've had the baby, that's probably my new hobby now, having a baby and not being able to do stuff.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
I know we've laboured on that quite a lot today. That babies just take up all of your time, and make it very difficult to do anything.
You used to when I used to talk to you a lot. You were always walking. I was like, why you walk so much? You're always walking, right? Like all you ever do is I'm just out walking. I'm calling because I'm walking. I thought, what's you're not even going anywhere interesting.
Why is he walking?
All I do is go up and down the same road as much as physically possible with the baby in a pram because that is all I can do. So yeah, I guess walking is a hobby now, up and down the same bit of road. Yeah, spending a tenner at the garage every time so I buy a Pepsi and a packet of crisps. And that's my life now.
Is that how much it is in Ireland, is it?
Ireland's so expensive. I think is it now the most expensive country in Europe?
That's crazy. I think things are expensive here, but yeah, when I came over to Ireland to see you, I was like, and a bottle of Coke is how much? It's,
England's like a cheap holiday now. I love it.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Cheap holiday in England. Yeah. If you ever want your Warhammer cheap, there's a store in Ireland.
Yeah.
That might be 10 plugs.
Is it 20% off that you have off Warhammer?
It's not. No, it's not 10%. It's 10% off.
Oh, 10% off. Okay, yeah, it's 10% off. So it's not 20% off. Oh, I thought you were going to say like the cheapest shop in Ireland, but
we're as cheap as the other shops in Ireland. There you go. So
10% off then. 10% off. And you go to Broadsword Wargaming for all your hobby needs. Is that have we plugged?
I don't know. I think we've plugged it. Yeah.
Have we plugged it enough now?
Also, go watch Benji's hobbies on YouTube.
Watch.
He occasionally does a video.
Occasionally, yeah. There's loads of stuff in the works, but at the moment, it's just finding the time and motivation to edit is the biggest grind for me.
I also think I probably owe you some footage at this point as well.
Yeah, you owe me some footage, but that's fine. That's fine. we can deal with that. Maybe by the time this goes out, you might have sent that to me.
So what's the date now? Wait, I don't know. I don't know when this is going out or when I have that footage to you.
But
maybe.
Yeah, but maybe we shall see. You know, you could surprise me. But yeah, I like, you know, we've talked about babies a lot. I know it takes up a lot of your time. You've got the shop, you know, you've got YouTube, you've got home life and everything to sort of balance. I know it is a difficult one to balance.
I think we're all the same. Probably most people listening, you know, we just don't have enough time. Never have enough time. So you have to make the time. You have to find the time. I don't believe in the saying we all have the same 24 hours, because that's not true, right? Everyone's got things going on, things.
Yeah, rich people can pay for people to cook food for them.
I need to do that.
Yeah, that's what you need to do. Pay somebody to raise your child.
How do I do that?
And then earn loads of money from people getting 10% off their Warhammer at broadswordwargaming.com.
There's no money to be earned, but sure, I'll do my best.
But yeah, so yeah, I know what you mean. It is tough to find time and things, but this is why we're doing this, because you know, this is kind of easier for us to film, and like we can get together for an hour or so, have a bit of a chat about a topic that interests us, and something that we think that you guys at home might find interesting as well. And yeah, we can chat about it, and you can listen in and enjoy our voices in your ear holes.
We need to find like segments, right? Like to move forward. I don't know how podcasts advance. What's the word I'm looking for? Evolve. I don't know. But like we need segments, right? Like a little catchy theme tune, like do side quest with Benji and Ollie.
Wait, you're a musician, and you've got loads of time on your hands apparently, so you can come up with a jingle for us.
If you just heard that, that's why I failed musician, right? I just stole the Mario theme tune of it.
I thought I'd heard it before.
It's plagiarism.
But yeah, so I think, you know, what would be really valuable to us is if you guys at home commented, you know, asked us questions, because you know, this has been quite fun, hasn't it? Like, you know, getting to know each other via questions and things. And if you guys at home have got questions, drop them down in the comments below, and we might answer them on a future episode of the podcast. Or if there's anything in particular that you'd like to hear us talk about, like certain topics and things, then that would be great. You know, we might not know the answers to everything, but I'm sure we've got our own shit takes on stuff that we can, you know, regale you with.
I can pretend to know the answer. I can falsely, you know, inform you about the wrong stuff. That's what I do.
We can both talk confidently about stuff we have no idea about. With minimal research.
Perfect. As any good channel should be, right? No research.
It's how I've got this far in life.
Misinformation.
Yeah. But no, I've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed getting to know you, doing a little bit of wargaming speed dating. So should we kind of wrap up this first episode? I think it's been okay. I don't think we're going to need to re-record this one.
I don't know, maybe. If you heard this one, we didn't re-record it. And if you're still here at this point, well done. Because that's like however long an hour of your life you're not getting back. But hopefully it's entertained you on your train or bus journey or car journey or sat whilst hobbying, probably.
Yeah. So thanks so much for watching and listening in, guys. Make sure that you click subscribe and the bell icon and all of that stuff. I hate doing this. Do you want to do this?
Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and hit the alert button to know when more videos, or is this a video? More
when we do more of this type of stuff,
audio, video.
We sometimes do, maybe.
Internet information goes live. Make sure to do that. And also, do comment and let us know what else you want from us, what you think. If it's nice, if it's bad, I just won't read it. No, I'll delete it. So don't do that. And
don't delete engagement yet.
We need it. We need you. So thank you so much, everybody, for listening. We have been Side Quest, the podcast.
Side Quest.
What's our name again? What's our name? Is it Side Quest the podcast, or should it be the podcast?
Side Quest podcast.
Nice, that's it. We've been Side Quest podcast with me, one of your hosts, your co-host. No, what am I? I'm a host, Oliver Fabian, and my co-host, Benji's Hobbies. No, Ben, whatever you want to call me. Yeah.
Benji's my other branding. We'll go with Ben on this one, I think.
Yeah.
More grown
I'll
up.
go with. I'll just change my name from Ollie to, I don't know, something else. Olivier.
Olivier.
Sounds.
Olivier.
And
Yeah, sounds posh.
I could be
No,
Spanish. Yeah.
No, I'm just going to keep calling you Ollie. Anyway,
Fair
on that note, let's wrap up this episode. Thanks for watching, guys, and listening, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
See ya.